I wake up in darkness. Absolute, suffocating darkness. The kind that presses against your skin and crawls into your ears. At first, I think I'm dreaming. That would make sense because this isn't real. I try to move. My arms hit the sides of something. Wooden, a coffin. My coffin, I can feel the rough texture of the wood digging into my skin. The faint smell of soil already seeping through the thin planks. Panic rises. My chest tightens. I try to scream, but my voice comes out muffled. My throat feels thick, like I've swallowed cement. Okay? Okay, I whisper to myself, hoping I sound calmer than I feel. Think. I try to remember how I got here. Last thing I remember. Walking home from the bar. It was late, quiet, raining. I saw a van parked by the alley, 2 shadows inside. I should have run. I should have screamed. I didn't. And now? Here I am. I'm not alone. That's what I realized first. At first. It's just a sound scratching, faint. A whisper of movement. My heart skips. I hold my breath, straining to hear. The scratching comes again, slower, deliberate. It's on the wood above me. Someone else. Someone trapped or worse. Waiting? I pound the sides, scream into the wood. Hey, someone. Anyone? Nothing. Only silence. Then that scratching again. Closer this time. I press my face against the lid, gasping, hoping for a crack, a slit of light, anything. My fingers dig into the edges, nails scraping against the wood. My skin burns. My knuckles bleed, and then I hear it. A whisper. Help. It's faint. Barely there, but unmistakable. Not my imagination. Someone else is in here. Someone who's been here before me. Someone who knows the darkness, the suffocating weight of soil on top of wood. Fear takes over. My mind races. Okay, breathe. Calm down. You can get out. You can, but how? I'm buried. Completely outside the world exists. Sunlight, rain, people walking, laughing, inside. Only this coffin. I remember something from a documentary. I saw once how air pockets exist briefly before everything inside becomes. Final, I start banging on the lid again, screaming, my voice hoarse, desperate. And then, I notice the scratches. On the walls, all around me. Deep, jagged, desperate. Not recent. Some are old, splintered. Others, fresh. I touch them with trembling fingers. Words, names, dates, April 14th. Don't forget. Please. I swallow hard. The realization hits me like a hammer. I'm not the first one. And whoever or whatever shares this coffin might still be here. I can feel a shift in the air. Something moves. Something cold brushing against my leg. I recoil. My flashlight tow, right? My phone not fumble, and it lights up. There's nothing. Just the tight walls. Just me. But then I hear a breath. Close. Behind me, I spin. Empty panic consumes me. I pound the lid again, screaming, kicking, trying to force it open. My fingernails rip, my skin tears, my voice gives out. Then, faintly, through the dirt and wood, I hear the sound of soil moving, not outside the coffin. Above me, around me. Something is alive in the ground. Or something is alive in here with me. I remember every horror movie I've ever watched. Every story about being buried alive. And the worst part, the part that makes your stomach knot, is knowing that death feels patient. It doesn't rush. It waits, watches, hears every frantic breath, every desperate thump, every terrified heartbeat. I try to calm myself. I have to. I need a plan. The scratches, the names, the dates, maybe. If I follow them, maybe they can guide me out. I touch one name carved deep into the wood. The letters are jagged, uneven. The date beneath it last week. Someone was here, and maybe they're still here. A sound, a whisper. Close, not in my head. In the coffin, behind me, don't. And then I realize, I'm not just trapped. I'm not just alone. I'm not alone at all. Asterisk, the whisper comes again. Help me. I freeze, my fingers trembling as they press against the coffin walls. My brain screams that it's impossible. That sound? It shouldn't exist, yet it does. Right there, behind me, I whisper back, my voice cracking. Who's there? What? What do you want? Silence. Then, a soft thump. Like someone or something shifting inside the coffin. My heart hammers against my ribcage. I slam my fists against the wood. Please. I can't breathe. Another thump, faster this time. It's deliberate, intentional. Someone is responding. Someone is alive in here. I remember the names etched into the wood. Each one a story, a warning. I run my fingers over the deepest scratches. A name almost erased catches my eye, Liam, beneath it. A date, 2 months ago. A memory flashes in my mind. A news report. A missing person. Liam, 28, disappeared from a rural road near here. They never found him. Not until the dirt was disturbed a few weeks later. I swallow hard. Could it be him? No, impossible. He'd be dead, wouldn't he? Then it hits me. I'm not just trapped in a coffin. I'm trapped in a cycle. A chain of people buried alive, one after another. And whatever is in here with me, it isn't just human. I try to keep calm. I have to think. Air is running out, my chest burns. My phone's light flickers. I shine it over the walls. Scratches, more names, more dates. Some fresh. Some older. One recent October 18th, help me. My breath catches. That's today. That's now. I press my ear to the wood, scratching. Again, close, rapid, panicked. I speak, voice shaking. I can hear you. I'll help you. Just tell me what to do. A pause. Then, a faint sound like a rasping sigh. Don't let them. I don't understand. Don't let them what? My mind races. Who are they? I try to move. My arms feel heavy. My legs, useless. The coffin isn't just confining, it's like it's holding me in place. As if the wood itself has weight, pressure, intent. And then I notice it, a gap. Barely a slit, just enough for my trembling fingers to slide through. Light, maybe, air, I hope. I start scraping at it with my nails. The sound of dirt shifting above me makes my stomach twist. Every scrape echoes, and I can feel the presence behind me growing restless, scratching, moving, breathing. Hurry, it's urgent now, desperate. The voice, not human, not fully. There's something in it, something wrong, and yet it's pleading. I dig harder at the slit, my fingers raw. The coffin creaks. Dirt shifts. Soil falls inside. I feel it covering my skin in gritty layers, yet I keep scraping. I can't stop. Then, a horrifying realization. The more I dig, the more I disturb. The more alive the soil above me feels. Like something is stirring, waiting, watching. Behind you? I spin, heart in my throat. Nothing. Darkness. My flashlight shakes in my hand. But then I see it. Scratches forming. Moving slowly. Not carved, but etched from the inside. My own panic, or something else is forcing them to appear. The letters form a word. Run. I don't need to think. My hands find purchase on the coffin lid. I push. I kick. I scream. The soil above me shudders, like the earth itself resists my escape. And then, another sound, from deeper in the coffin. Something alive. Something breathing. Something close, or we die. I stumble back, hitting the walls. My chest heaves. My ears ring. My mind spins with terror and confusion. Am I alone? Or are there others down here, others who never made it out? I glance at the scratches. They tell a story of desperation, of failure, of horror. And in the dim light of my phone, I see the latest message, scratched deeply, freshly. They never leave the coffin. Neither do we. I scream again, a sound that rattles the wood and the soil. The presence behind me responds not with words, but with movement. Something shifts. Something cold brushes against my arm. My skin crawls. And then I realize, escaping isn't just about breaking the coffin. Escaping might mean surviving what's already inside it with me. Asterisk, I can hear it now. Not just scratching. Not just whispers. Something breathing. Heavy. Close. Behind me. Around me. Beneath me, I try to calm myself, but it's impossible. My body is trembling uncontrollably. My chest is tight. Every second that passes feels like minutes, hours, days. I press my hands to the walls again, tracing the jagged scratches. Each one is a silent scream, a frozen terror. I try to speak, to reach whatever is in here with me. Who? Who's there? Tell me what to do. Silence. Only the shifting dirt above. Then a whisper, chilling in its urgency. Listen. I lean closer to the wood, straining. I'm listening. There's a pause. Then, a rasping, broken voice. They're coming. You can't. Leave. I recoil. Who are they? My mind races. People? Monsters. My captors? Or something far worse. The light from my phone flickers across the walls. I see it. More scratches. Not just names and dates. Words, please. Warnings, don't trust them. They feed on fear. Never alone. I press my face to the wood, desperate. Who feeds on fear? What are you? Are you human? The rasping voice laughs. A sound that makes my stomach twist. Not human, but not completely something else either. Somewhere between sanity and nightmare. Human, we were. Once a shiver runs down my spine. Once human. Now something trapped, something turned. Something that shares this coffin. With me, I press my fingers into the latest scratches. They seem fresh. Deeper, moving slightly under my touch, like the wood itself is alive. I try to remember the date etched beneath them. Today, my name. No, my initials. I freeze, it can mark me. It knows me. Already, panic explodes. I pound on the lid again, harder than before. The soil above me shifts violently. My phone flickers and dies. Darkness engulfs me completely. And then, cold and wet, something brushes my leg. A hand, or something like one. I recoil, gagging at the sudden, icy contact. My mind screams. I can't see it. I can't fight it. I can only feel it. We wait. Together. It speaks as if it has been waiting all along. Not for me, but for something worse. I try to crawl to find the slit of light again. My hands scrape against the walls, cutting myself on jagged edges. But the coffin, it's bigger than I thought. Or maybe I'm smaller. Or maybe it's not alone. Another whisper from the opposite side. Don't move too fast. My breath catches. Opposite side, there's another presence. Not just the one I've been communicating with. Something else. Something patient, watching, waiting, I panic. I can't think. I pound the lid, kick, scrape, shout. The scratches, moving, shifting, forming a message right before my eyes. Together, forever. My stomach drops. It isn't just a warning. It's a promise. Or a threat. I press my hands over my ears, but I can still hear it. Scratching, breathing, whispering. Closer, everywhere. And then, I realize something horrifying. The coffin isn't just a coffin. It's a trap, a prison, a lure. And whatever is in here with me doesn't want me to leave. Not alive, not alone. I scream again, my voice raw, my body shaking uncontrollably. Why me? The rasping voice answers, soft and sorrowful, because you listen, you feel, you know fear, and they need it. I stumble back, my mind fracturing. Who needs it? The buried? The watchers? The ones who never leave. They feed and they multiply. Something moves behind me. Something heavy. Close. I can't see it, but I can feel it pressing against my back. My legs buckle. My head hits the coffin wall. I'm trapped. Completely, totally. And the realization is horrifying. I am not alone. Not just in here, but never alone. Asterisk, asterisk, I can't stop shaking. Every nerve in my body screams. Every instinct tells me to run, but I can't. I'm trapped. Completely trapped. And the presence, the entities in here, are patient. Waiting, I force myself to listen. To focus, the whispering continues, now coming from multiple directions. I'm surrounded. They feed. You feel. Don't fight it. The words blend together, a symphony of dread. My stomach knots. My chest tightens. My throat burns. I press my hands against the coffin walls again. Scratches are forming rapidly, new letters, new messages, fresh from nowhere. The wood itself seems alive. I trace the words, trembling. Feed the fear. Join us. I scream. I slam my fists, but it's useless. The coffin doesn't yield. The soil above shifts, settling like a living weight. Every breath I take feels heavier, harder. Then I feel it. Something brushing my arm again. Not gentle. Not accidental. Intentional. Deliberate. I recoil, heart hammering. Embrace or die. The voice, their voices, everywhere. It's coming from inside me, from the walls, from the dirt above. I can't escape it. I crawl toward the small slit of light again, hoping for any chance of air, of freedom. My hands scrape the wood, nails breaking, skin tearing. The scratches follow me almost, guiding me, leading me somewhere, and then I see it, a hand, pale, thin, ragged, emerging from the darkness behind me. I freeze, my mind blanks. My body refuses to move. We've been waiting. I realize with a shiver that this isn't just one entity. There are many. Their hands, their whispers, their breathing, pressing in on me from every corner of this coffin. I'm not the first. I'm just the latest. I press my hands against my ears, screaming internally, but the voices penetrate anyway. Feel fear. Feed them, or join us. My stomach churns. My chest aches. And yet, something in me, some primal part, wants to listen, wants to obey. The fear is intoxicating. I hate it. I love it. I can feel it coursing through me like fire. I glance at the latest scratches. Names, dates, please. One stands out. You cannot leave. Not alive. Not alone. I shake my head violently. No, I won't accept this. I won't. But the entities press closer. Their cold, damp presence brushing my legs, my back, my face. Whispers chanting in a chorus of despair. Join. Feed. Never alone. And then, horrifying, another realization. One of the hands brushes my shoulder. I flinch, but it lingers. Not aggressive. Not violent. Almost. Guiding, it's offering me a choice. I want to scream. I want to escape. But the words etched into the wood, the whispers in the dark, the suffocating pressure of soil and coffins, all converge into one undeniable truth. I can't leave. Not yet. Not without them. Feel fear. Embrace, survive. The entities want me to accept them, to feed, to become part of this endless cycle of terror. And the thought makes bile rise in my throat. I press my back against the coffin wall, trembling, heart hammering, mind reeling. I have a choice: fight or embrace the horror to survive. And then, almost in unison, the whispers grow louder, closer, urgent. Choose or die. I realize I am truly trapped, not just in the coffin, not just in the darkness, but in a nightmare that feeds on fear itself. And whatever happens next will define whether I survive or become one of them. Asterisk, I can't stay still. I can't. Every second here is a second closer to whatever that thing is consuming me from the inside out. I have to act. I have to do something. I press my palms against the walls, feeling the jagged scratches. Names, dates, messages of despair. They guide me or warn me. Maybe both. I whisper back. I'll play your game. Just show me how to survive. The whispers hesitate. Then a rasping voice, chilling in its broken cadence. Survive. Feed. Choose. I swallow hard. It's a choice, isn't it? I have to make a choice. An instinct tells me the entity, or the entities, want me to embrace fear, to feed, to join the cycle. But I can't. I won't. I take a deep, ragged breath. My fingers find the smallest gap of light at the coffin lid. The soil above shifts slightly. The whispers intensify. Don't. Resist. Join. I press my ear to the slit and try to speak, even as my voice shakes. I won't. I won't join you. Silence, then movement. Something lunges. Cold, heavy, brushing my arm again. I flinch, nearly screaming, but hold it together. Then a whisper, almost intimate, almost pleading. You can't leave. Without us? I glance at the walls again. Scratches forming words again. Fast, urgent. I trace them. The cycle never ends. Fear, feed, survive. I realize the truth. This coffin is a trap, a test, a crucible of fear. Whoever survives becomes part of the entity, a feeder, a watcher. The same fate that claimed all those names etched into the wood. I shake violently. No, I refuse. And then I hear something new. A whisper, not coming from the entities behind me, but from deeper in the coffin. A voice smaller, softer, human. Help me. My heart stops. Another survivor. Another victim? Or someone trapped, already turned halfway into? Whatever this is, I press toward the voice, crawling through the narrow space. My hands scrape, bloodied. The coffin feels endless. The soil above shifts like a living thing. We can't escape. I glance back. The entities are closer. Whispers all around. I feel their presence brushing my skin, cold and wet. Yet the soft human voice calls to me. Trust me. Follow. I hesitate. My mind screams, it's a trap. But my instincts, my hope for survival, push me forward. I crawl, scrape, push. The coffin seems to stretch, the walls constricting. The entities whispering and pressing in. And then I see it. A tiny hollow in the coffin wall, just enough to reach through. The voice calls again. Take my hand. Don't stop. I reach out, trembling, and feel cold, ragged fingers. Human sort of lie. Alive, but not quite. I grasp it. My pulse races. Pull me. I heave with every ounce of strength. The entity behind me presses, whispers, urging me to give in, to succumb to the fear. But I ignore it. I pull the hand closer, dragging the smaller figure with me. The whispers rise to a deafening chorus. Join, feed. Never alone. I scream, fighting, dragging, straining against the coffin walls. Dirt falls, soil shifts, pressure mounts. The presence presses closer, stronger, trying to pull me back, trying to feed on my fear. But I refuse. And then, light, a thin, slivered light, widening slightly as I push and pull the figure through the gap. Soil slides. The coffin creaks violently. I glance back once. The whispers. The shadows. The hands, waiting, patient, hungry. I don't look again. I keep pulling. Every second is a battle. Every movement a scream in the darkness. And finally, we reach the air. The light grows. Dirt spills onto my skin. The cold air fills my lungs. My companion gasps. Alive, or at least. Alive enough, but the whispers. They linger, faint, haunting, echoing in my mind. You cannot leave. Not truly. Never alone. I collapse, panting, heart hammering. Outside the coffin, sunlight. Rain on my face. Dirt in my hair. The world exists, but something inside me knows it's not over. It never ends, and I realize, with horror, that the cycle, the feeding. The entities, they're patient, waiting, watching, always. I lie on the wet ground, heart hammering, gasping for air as the rain soaks my hair and clothes. Dirt clings to my skin, to my fingernails, to every crack of my body. My companion, half collapsed, trembling beside me, makes a small, raspy sound. Alive, for now. I glance back at the mound of soil. The coffin, silent, but I know it's waiting. Patient, eternal, never alone. The whisper echoes in my mind, though I'm outside, in the open. The world looks normal. Sunlight fights through clouds. Birds call somewhere distant, but the horror is still with me. It's inside me. My companion finally lifts their head. Eyes hollow, skin pale. Not fully human anymore, yet not fully gone. We need to leave, I say, voice cracking. Far from here. Anywhere. They shake their head. They follow. We carry it. My stomach twists. Carry what? Fear. The curse? I realize then that it's not just the coffin that traps you. It's what you bring with you afterward. The fear, the entity. Part of it transfers. Like a seed planted in your soul. I shiver, looking at my hands, bloodied, shaking. I feel it. A weight in my chest. A whisper in the corner of my mind, faint, insistent. Feed. Fear. Never alone. I try to shake it off. Focus on the world around me. But the scratches, the ones I traced inside the coffin, they burn themselves into my memory. Names, dates, pleas, patterns. Cycle. Must continue. My companion whispers. Their voice trembles. Every coffin, every fear, every survivor becomes them. I feel bile rise. Become them. No, I won't. We stagger through the rain, mud sucking at our shoes. Every step feels like defiance. Every breath a victory. But deep inside, I feel the pull, the hunger of the coffin, of the entities. Following, waiting, patient, and then Something moves in the soil behind us. Just a small shift, subtle, almost imperceptible. But I see it. My heart stops. They never stop. The realization hits me with a cold, crushing weight. The coffin doesn't care about distance. The entity isn't limited by wood or dirt. It exists in fear itself. Wherever I go, it follows, patient, eternal, waiting for the next moment of panic. The next heartbeat filled with terror. I glance at my companion. Their eyes are distant, haunted. We were chosen. Trapped, same as them. I shake my head. No, not me. Not yet. I refuse to give in. I'll fight it. I have to, but the whispers, faint, insistent, begin again. In my head, in my chest. In the shadows around me, feed. Fear, never alone. I clutch my head, staggering. My mind is fraying. Every instinct screams to run. Every rational thought screams to survive. But the entity, the curse, the cycle, it's everywhere. Patient, watching, waiting, and I know. With certainty now that the horror isn't confined to the coffin. The horror is in me. The horror follows. I stop. Look around. Rain falls. Wind blows. Trees sway. The world is ordinary, and yet, ordinary isn't safe. Ordinary isn't real. Not for us. We carry it. My companion whispers again, and we become them. I feel it a whisper in my bones. In my soul, patient, waiting, watching, and the terrifying truth sinks in. The coffin, the entities, the cycle. It never ends. Not for those trapped. Not for those who survive. Not for anyone who dares to escape. I gulp, voice barely audible. Then we survive. Somehow, my companion nods faintly, pale, shaking. For now, I take a trembling breath. Look back at the mound of soil. The coffin. Silent, but alive in its waiting. I realize, with bone-deep horror, that part of me will always be inside it. Always, and the cycle. Waits, patient, eternal. Asterisk, we stumble through the rain-soaked forest. Mud clinging to our shoes, our clothes plastered against our bodies. My companion trails beside me, pale, shivering. Eyes hollow like they've seen too much, because they have. At first, the world feels normal. Rain hitting leaves, wind rustling through branches, distant birds calling. And yet, it's not normal. Not for us. Not after what's in us. I feel it first in my chest. A subtle pressure. A whisper crawling up my spine. Feed, fear. Never alone. I spin. Empty. The trees sway. The wind whistles. Yet the sensation grows patient, deliberate. The entity isn't confined. It follows. It waits. It watches. They carry it. You carry it. My companion whispers. Their voice is barely audible, but the meaning hits me like a sledgehammer. We are now vessels. Survivors who have escaped physically, but the horror, the curse, follows us. And those who survive must eventually pay the price. I glance around. The forest is still, silent, but alive with unseen movement. Shadows flit between the trees too fast, too deliberate. And then I see it. A shape, pale, shifting, just beyond the edge of vision. Not entirely human. Not entirely corpse. But alive, watching, waiting. It's here. My companion breathes. I feel my pulse race. My hands shake. The entity manifests differently outside the coffin. More fluid, more insidious. It doesn't just press on my body. Now it presses on my mind, my senses, my very will. I stumble back. My heart hammers. My companion grabs my arm. Don't panic. It feeds on that. I force my voice steady. Then we don't give it anything. We survive. The entity moves closer. Shadows stretch unnaturally. The ground trembles slightly, as if responding to its will. Whispers swirl around us in the wind, barely audible but omnipresent. Feed, fear. Never alone. The voice is all around. Behind the trees, in the mud beneath my feet, even inside my head. I clutch my temples. My vision swims. The forest tilts, shifts. The entity tests me, pushing me to give in, to surrender, to feed it. I glance at my companion. Their skin seems to ripple unnaturally, almost translucent. Eyes wide, yet empty. They are already halfway consumed. You have to fight it, I say, voice shaking. You have to hold on. They nod weakly. Hold on. I take a deep breath, heart hammering. The forest tilts again. Shadows stretch and bend, reaching toward us. The air feels heavier, like it's charged with malice. I feel it, then a clawing sensation at the back of my mind, as though something is probing, testing, measuring my fear. The entity is stronger here, unrestricted. Outside the coffin, it is free to manipulate reality, to bend perception, to feed on panic and terror. You cannot escape, it whispers. Not through words, but through thought, through pressure in my skull, through the twitching shadows. Never alone. I steel myself. I refuse. I survive. I don't give in. For a moment, silence. The forest seems to hold its breath. And then the shadows retract slightly. The whispers fade, just enough for me to catch my own ragged breathing. For now, my companion whispers, we survive. For now, but I know the truth. The entity doesn't forget. It doesn't forgive. And one day, the coffin, or its kind, will come for us again. Patient, eternal, hungry, waiting. I glance at the forest, drenched and dark. The rain falls harder. Shadows stretch in the corners of my vision. And deep in my chest, I feel it's the seed of fear planted, the curse I carry. The entity that will never leave. We survived the coffin. But survival doesn't mean freedom. And as we stumble deeper into the forest, one thought burns in my mind. Relentless and unyielding. We are never, ever alone. Asterisk, asterisk, we keep moving. The rain has stopped, or maybe it never mattered. Mud clings to our shoes, but it's nothing compared to the weight in my chest. The entity isn't behind us anymore. It's inside us. In every nerve, in every heartbeat, in every breath, my companion stumbles and I catch them. Their eyes are wide, filled with a terror that doesn't fade. We can't run forever. They whisper, I swallow hard. We can try. We have to. The forest opens to a road. Faint light flickers in the distanced houses, cars, life. Normal life. And yet, I feel it. The entity's presence, stretching, probing, unseen tendrils brushing against the edges of reality. Not just here. Not just the forest. The curse spreads. We stumble into a small gas station. Fluorescent lights hum. People move about, oblivious. And I almost laugh until I notice the subtle signs. Scratches on the walls. Names etched faintly into the corners of the shelves. Dates, please. The entity has been here before. It follows patterns, cycles. Every survivor carries a seed. Every fear fuels the next victim. It spreads. My companion whispers, we're part of it now. I glance at them, panic rising. We can fight it. We have to resist, but I feel the pull again, stronger than ever. A whisper in my skull, soft, intimate, feed. Fear, never alone. I clutch my head, staggering. The world seems to flicker. Shadows bend unnaturally in the corners of my eyes. The air thickens. Every customer in the gas station, normal people, oblivious, suddenly seems like carriers, like part of the cycle. My skin crawls. I know now the entity isn't just confined to the coffin. It's patient. It waits. It manipulates. It infects through fear, slowly, invisibly. And once you survive, you carry it. Part of you will always belong to it. We have to warn them, I whisper to my companion. Others. People, they have to know. But as we speak, subtle shifts occur. A shadow moves across the ceiling. A shelf trembles slightly. The air thickens. The whispers, soft but insistent, curl around my thoughts. Asterisk feed. Fear, never alone. My companion grabs my arm, panic-stricken. Look. I turn, a customer, young man, average normal, pauses at the counter. And then, he scratches at his arm, blood rising, names forming, dates etched into skin as if invisible hands guide him. His eyes widen. He gasps. And then, faintly, I hear the whisper in his mind. Never alone. My stomach twists. The cycle has already started. The entity doesn't wait for coffins alone. It waits in fear, in terror, in survival. And every person who brushes against it becomes part of the chain. I look at my companion. We survived the coffin, I whisper, voice trembling. But we didn't escape it. They nod faintly, pale, shaking. It follows, forever. And I realize survival is meaningless. Escaping the coffin only delays the inevitable. The curse, the entity, the cycle. It is eternal, patient, waiting, always hungry. I glance back at the forest. The mound of soil. The coffin buried beneath. And then at the gas station, at the young man, at the shadows curling in every corner. I understand fully. There is no escape. Not truly. Not ever. The cycle continues. And we are, indeed, never, ever alone. Asterisk, asterisk, the gas station is empty now, except for us. The hum of the fluorescent lights feels oppressive, almost alive. My companion leans against the wall, shaking, eyes wide, staring at the shadows. It's inside us, they whisper. It's everywhere. I press my hands to my temples. The whispers are louder now, insistent, twisting my thoughts. Feed. Fear. Never alone. I try to push it away. I refuse to give in. Every nerve in my body screams to fight, to survive, to escape. But the entity doesn't need a coffin anymore. It's in us, around us, and in every person we pass. A car drives by outside. A man walks through the parking lot. I see him ordinary, unaware. But I know what's coming. The cycle doesn't wait. The whispers curl around him, faint, invisible, irresistible. And I realize it's not just a coffin that traps people. Fear itself is the prison now. We can't stop it, my companion says, voice breaking. It spreads. Through fear, through survival. I stagger to the window, pressing my forehead against the glass. My reflection is pale, hollow-eyed. I see it inside me, clawing at my mind, whispering, feed. Fear, never alone. My body trembles. My hands shake. I want to scream, to run, to fight. But the whispers are inside me, persistent, patient. We have to fight it, I whisper to my companion. We can't. We won't join it. They nod, trembling. Hold on. Resist, but the shadows in the room grow. Subtle at first, then unmistakable. Twisting, bending, forming shapes, human, yet distorted. Each movement deliberate, calculated. Hungry, I realize, with a sickening clarity. We are not the only survivors who carry it. Others like us, scattered in the world, feeding the entity with every heartbeat of fear, every whisper of terror. The cycle, it never ends. My companion whispers. We survive, but we are part of it. I clutch my head, trying to scream, trying to fight, but the entity is relentless. I feel its fingers in my mind, probing, testing, measuring. The whispers rise to a deafening chorus. Feed. Fear, never alone. Join us. My stomach twists. My chest burns. I feel the hunger of the entity, the inevitable pull. And I understand the truth fully now. The only way to survive is to embrace it. To feed it. To become part of the cycle. But I refuse. I stumble backward, heart hammering, and grab my companion's hand. We survive, I whisper. Together. Not them. Us. We run. Out of the gas station, into the street, into the night. The entity follows, patient, unseen, insistent. Shadows bend in our peripheral vision. Whispers curl around every thought. You cannot escape. Never alone. I push forward, lungs burning, mind fraying. And yet, even as we run, I know the truth. Every step we take, every person we encounter, every moment of fear, the cycle continues. It is eternal, patient, hungry. Waiting, I glance at my companion. Eyes wide, shaking, but alive. We fight it, I whisper. We survive. Not them. They nod, gripping my hand tighter. For now. And I realize the fight isn't over. It will never be over. Survival doesn't mean freedom. Survival only means you live long enough to carry the horror further, and the entity waits. Patient, eternal. Asterisk, asterisk, we run through the night. Rain-slick streets, glistening under dim streetlights. Every shadow stretches unnaturally. Every whisper curls in my mind. Feed. Fear. Never alone. I clutch my companion's hand. Their fingers are ice cold, trembling, but alive. Or almost alive. I don't know anymore. All I know is the weight in my chest, the whispering, the clawing, the hunger. It's inside me. Inside us. We can't outrun it forever, my companion whispers. I shake my head. We fight. We survive. Together, the whispers grow louder, closer, pressing into my thoughts like fingernails on bone. Shadows twist along the walls of buildings. Every heartbeat carries a pulse of terror, feeding the entity, nurturing the cycle. Join us. It's easier. I stumble, almost collapsing. My companion steadies me. You have to resist. And then I see them. Others' figures emerging from alleys, doorways, shadows stretching unnaturally. Their eyes hollow. Names etched in their skin. Dates carved into flesh. Survivors like us. Or feeders. Half consumed, half human, fully trapped in the cycle. The cycle never ends. My companion whispers, voice trembling. We are part of it now. I realize the truth, the horrifying culmination of everything. The entity doesn't need coffins to trap people anymore. The cycle spreads through fear, through survival, through contact. Every heartbeat of terror fuels it. Every whisper of panic strengthens it. I press my hand to my chest. I feel it a pulse in sync with my own heartbeat. Not my own. Something else, patient, eternal. We pause under a flickering streetlight. My companion looks at me, eyes wide with terror and resignation. What do? I swallow hard, voice barely audible. We fight, we survive. We don't feed it. The shadows swirl around us, almost sentient, whispering, curling, reaching. I feel the entity probing, testing, measuring. And I know resistance is temporary. Survival is fleeting. You cannot win. Never alone. I grasp my companion's hand tighter. Then we live. Together. That's enough for now. The shadows hesitate. The whispers pause. Only for a moment. I know it won't last. The cycle is patient, eternal, and one day it will rise again. One day the coffin or its kind will return, patient, waiting. We run into the night, the city alive, oblivious. Every street corner, every alley, every living soul, a potential seed for the cycle. And yet, even knowing that, we move. We survive. And I realize the ultimate horror, the final truth. Escaping the coffin doesn't free you. Surviving doesn't save you. The entity doesn't care. The cycle doesn't end because the entity is patient. The entity waits. The entity feeds, and we are never, ever alone. The night swallows us. Shadows stretch. Whispers curl. The seed of fear is alive within us. Eternal, patient, hungry, waiting, and the cycle continues. Asterisk, asterisk, that's all for today, folks. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.